I don't know, but this truth I can't handle. It sits in my chest like a stone I never expected to find there. Heavy, cold, impossible to ignore. I have borne many burdens that came with this name, treaties that frayed at the edges, funerals that taught me how small life is against ceremony, decisions that carved the lines on my face. Yet none of that prepared me for the ache of a truth about you that reaches into the quiet places where I keep hope. My hands shake not from armor or battle, but from the rawness of feeling exposed, as if someone has opened a window in winter and let the chill claim the room. I am a prince by birth, practiced in composed replies and measured replies, but these words make the practiced part of me quiet. All that remains is a man trying to reckon with the way his heart is rearranged by what he has learned. When I first heard it, denial was my immediate refuge. I ran through every memory we'd made, the small mercies, the evenings shared in private, the way your laugh softened the hardness of this place, and I searched for proof that rumor and truth were not the same. But memory can comfort and deceive in the same breath, and that was the cruelest part. My mind wanted to believe the version of you I loved, while my senses kept being tugged toward what others had whispered. There is a peculiar violence in suspicion. It does not need certainty to wound. It only needs a crack in confidence, and then it seizes the whole structure. I found myself standing on that fissure, watching the palace of what I thought I knew tilt in slow motion. Anger rose next, hot and sharp, not aimed wholly at you, but at the world that would even whisper such a thing, at the friend who fed me fear instead of counsel, at my own foolishness for letting certain doubts live unexamined. That anger felt almost righteous until the softer pieces of me, the parts that love without calculation, reminded me that fury can blind us to nuance and mercy. I do not want to be a man who punishes before he understands. Yet I am human enough to confess I am terrified. I am terrified not because I cannot forgive, but because I do not know the shape of the truth I have yet to hear from your lips. The unknown is louder than any accusation, and in its echo even the fondest memory can sound like an unfamiliar country. And so I have been learning the strange art of patience, which is not an easy thing for one who has been trained to command. Patience, in this case, is not waiting in silence for the world to decide for me. It is holding myself to a standard of compassion I wish to deserve. I want to hear from you directly, without the attic of rumor creaking overhead. I want to see how you stand when the light is aimed at you, to meet whatever you offer with the steadiness you have given me in kinder days. If you are wounded by what others say, I will be your shield. If there is hurt I must accept, I will accept it with the integrity that love asks of me. But to do either of those things, I need your truth, not filtered, not rehearsed, simply yours. Part of me also fears the ripple effect, how this revelation, whatever its depth, will roll outward through rooms and corridors, and into the mouths of those who delight in spectacle. I have seen how reputations are knotted and unraveled by a single sentence, and how lives are trimmed to fit the story the court prefers. If the world learns before we do, I cannot promise gentleness for you, only that I will do whatever is within my power to protect your dignity. There is a different courage required to stand publicly beside someone who has been judged than to marry when the sun is all applause. I am willing to show that courage because I know you, because I have seen what steadiness and compassion you carry, and because whatever the truth, I would rather face it beside you than let rumor decide our fate. Yet honesty scares me too. There is a terror in imagining your words arriving like winter rain that I did not expect. I worry about the ache it might cause, about the pieces of us that might break in the telling. Love does not make us immune to pain. Sometimes it exposes us to it in ways that demand growth or goodbye. I am not naive. I know that some truths cannot be softened without losing their meaning. Still, I would rather have the hard, honest shape of reality than the thin wallpaper of convenient lies. If this is to stand or fall, I want it to be because it was tested by truth, however sharp, rather than eroded quietly by rumor until nothing recognizable remains. So hear me clearly, my inability to handle this truth is not a rejection of you. It is an admission of how much you matter. The fact that my bones tremble at the thought of losing you, or of finding you altered by past choices, shows that what we have is not a toy I can cast aside, it is a life I treasure. I want to learn how to carry whatever comes with tenderness and honor. That will require conversation, patience, and painful honesty, from both of us. I am prepared to listen, to be wounded, to forgive, or to let go if that is what integrity demands. But I will not let others write the end of our story, without you first being afforded the right to speak. And in the quiet between these confessions, there is a promise I make to you now. I will not let fear make my decisions for me. I will let love be the guide that tempers judgment, and I will hold fast to the memory of your small mercies, while I ask the hard questions with my hands unhurt by accusation. If the truth we uncover together is gentle, we will bind it into the fabric of our days. If it is jagged, we will either mend or part with dignity. Either way, I would rather step into that uncertain light with you than cower in the comfortable dark others hand me. It feels like my world has been split in two, the one where I believed in you without question, and the one where this truth hovers above me, demanding to be faced. As a prince, I have been taught that strength is found in certainty, but right now, I am anything but certain. I pace the halls of my chamber, wondering how a single truth can hold so much power over me. And yet, even in this storm, the thought of you remains my anchor. My heart tells me to protect you, to trust you, even when my mind is clouded with doubts I never wanted to entertain. I close my eyes and remember the first time our paths crossed. The light in your eyes, the way you carried yourself without pretension, the warmth in your voice when you spoke my name. None of that felt like a lie. None of that felt like a disguise. If anything, it was more real than anything I had ever known in my palace life, where masks are worn more often than faces. That is why this truth cuts so deeply, because it questions the very foundation I believed was unshakable. But even now, I cannot see you as anything less than the woman who changed the rhythm of my heart. And perhaps that is what frightens me most. That despite everything I have heard, despite the weight of this revelation, I cannot make myself turn away from you. A prince is supposed to be logical, decisive, even ruthless when the situation demands it. Yet here I am, restless, conflicted, choosing to let love sway me more than reason. If this is weakness, then let me be weak. Because I would rather stumble toward you with trembling hands than walk away from you in perfect control. I wonder if you know how much power you hold over me. Even when you are not in front of me, I speak to you in my thoughts, explaining my turmoil, defending you against my own doubts. I imagine what I would say if you were standing here, how I would cup your face and tell you that nothing in this world can make me see you as lesser. Do you realize that? Do you understand that in my eyes, you are not beneath me? You are the very reason I have begun to look beyond the crown, beyond duty, toward a life that feels alive and human. There are voices around me whispering their judgments, advising me to protect my name, to be careful, to walk away before I am ruined. But what is a crown without love? What is a throne without the one person who makes it worth sitting upon? Let them whisper. Let them talk. I have carried the weight of kingdoms on my shoulders, but it is the thought of losing you that truly bends me to my knees. That is the kind of truth I cannot handle, the kind that strips me of every title and leaves me only as a man who loves. Still, I know this story is not just about me, it is about you as well. You who have walked paths I will never fully know, carried burdens I will never fully feel. Whatever mistakes you may have made, whatever truths you may reveal, they do not erase the person you are to me now. They do not erase the way you have healed me in places I didn't know were broken. If you stood here today, I would take your hands in mine and tell you this: your past does not define your worth, not in my eyes, not in my heart. And so I wait, not as a prince commanding answers, but as a man longing for honesty. Whatever words come from your lips, I will meet them with an open heart. I cannot promise it will be easy, I cannot promise it will not hurt, but I can promise that I will not turn away from you. Because even if this truth is too heavy to handle, loving you has always been the one thing I could carry without faltering. And I would rather bear the weight of that truth with you than live a life unshaken but empty. I will carry this truth into the light, because hiding it would be a cruelty to both of us. Tonight I pen these words as if they might find you folded into a pocket or slipped under your door, though I know you do not stand before me. Even so, I speak as one who cannot keep quiet any longer. I want you to understand how the weight of what I heard has pressed against every calm I once took for granted. It is not only the rumor itself that unsettles me, but the sense that my own heart might have been naive, that I mistook silence for peace and quiet for certainty. Perhaps what frightens me most is the knowledge that truth has many faces. There is the kind that crushes and the kind that frees. There is the kind that changes everything, and the kind that simply asks for rearrangement. I find myself bargaining silently, with fate, with my own pride, hoping the revelation will be of the latter sort. If the truth alters what we are, I want it to do so cleanly and kindly, with dignity for both of us. If it is a wound, let it be tended honestly rather than wrapped in pretense. I owe you that much, because you have given me more than a fleeting affection. You have offered me yourself, and that demand deserves an answer built of courage. There are times I am ashamed of how easily a whisper unsettled me. I have told myself I am a ruler, schooled in the management of storms. Yet this has revealed the part of me that still craves certainty the way a child craves the known edges of a favorite book. Perhaps that is not weakness. Perhaps it is proof that love has the power to expose parts of us we keep carefully rationed. If loving you makes me more tender, more easily wounded, then I will accept the vulnerability as a necessary cost. I would rather feel everything deeply and risk breaking than live in a guarded perfection that never allowed me to love at all.